everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of The Other 99. I want to first apologize for my absence. Life has happened, and you guys have missed out on some videos. For that, I am sorry. One quick announcement, however. Some of you may know Brionne aka Fork of Doom. She's a real great writer, and I'm looking forward to getting to work with her personally on more content for The Other 99. You can see some of her work on Commander Cast and her blog. And now, without further ado, Kha Regent. For many people thinking about getting into Commander, money is a huge issue. Many potential players fear that they will have to pour several $100s into a good deck. The increasing price of many Commander staples makes this fear seem justified. Sensei's Divining Top, a Commander favorite, is currently $17. Now, I'm not saying that having a few $100s to dump into a deck won't mean that you get a better deck. Anyone who's been playing Magic for more than 2 hours knows money really can buy happiness. Yet it has been my experience that a good EDH can often be built with $100 or less. In this case, I'm going to go with half that. So here's Kha Regent in less than $50. The cards in this deck fit into a few categories. The first of which is support for Kemba. Kemba is a Voltron General, or in other words, a commander who uses lots of equipment to smash through and win the game with general damage. When you look at Kemba, it's pretty obvious what cards make her good. You need some good equipment, and you need ways to get it and abuse it. Darksteel Plate. Yay, Indestructible Kitty, but seriously, if you can give Kemba Shroud and make her indestructible, you will pretty much win at EDH forever. Skull Clamp. You have dudes, you need cards. Problem solved. Bone Horde. Kemba gets huge. Yep. Lockstone Warhammer. Trample and Lifelink are pretty handy. Probably one of the best equipments in the deck, and definitely worth the slot. Darksteel Axe. I found that, although Darksteel Axe doesn't make Kemba much bigger, having an equipment that's always around to attach to her is awesome. Fire Shrieker, taking things up a notch with Double Strike. Konda's Banner. Equip Konda's Banner to Kemba, make an army of 4/4 kitties, have some fun. Stratus Scythe. Aside from a ridiculous Bone Horde, Stratus Scythe is your go-to equipment for a huge general damage swing, and this deck has a lot of planes. Sword of Vengeance. It gives you the trample you need to punch through chump blockers. Oh, and it also makes Kemba into a pseudo-Acroma. Whisper Silk Cloak. Although having a Shroudy Voltron General as opposed to a hexproof one can suck, the trade-off of unblockability is totally worth it. Auriok Survivors. At 7, the Survivors have a pretty hefty cost, but they nab equipment from the graveyard, put it on the battlefield, and then attach it to themselves, which is quite a bit for 7 mana if you think about it. Razor Hippogriff, Sanctum Gargoyle, and Treasure Hunter. More recursion on bodies, which is preferable because a Lockstone Warhammer is no good if you have nothing to stick it on. Stonehewer Giant, Tajnar Swordsmith, Steel Shaper's Gift. We need ways to get equipment, and Stoneforge Mystic, though good, is not worth it to us to spend 20% of our budget on her alone. Remember the Fallen. Cheap recursion for both artifacts and creatures, great utility, and a white divination of sorts. Buried Ruin. A great way to get back key artifacts without using a spell slot. The next thing a good Voltron deck needs is spot removal, for those pesky creatures that keep you from getting damage through. Since our budget keeps us from doing anything too fancy, for example Swords of Plowshares or Paths to Exile, we're going to have to get creative. To do that, we're resorting to auras. We've combed the database to find auras that don't make us lose quite as much card advantage. Cage of Hands. Pacifism that costs 1 more, but being able to bounce it keeps you from losing card advantage when it dies. We found that in many situations, it can be better than running spot removal, but because the best creature on the battlefield often becomes outclassed very quickly. Arrest. It doesn't bounce itself, but it completely shuts down a creature. Really powerful for an aura. Detainment Spell. It won't keep big dudes from attacking or blocking, but it shuts down all those creatures with activated abilities. Like, Zedru or something. Faith's Fetters. It's like they took Arrest and made us pay 1 more mana to gain 4 life. We'll take it. But even better, it says Enchanted Permanent. 3 Dreams and Totem Guide Heartbeast. With all those great auras, a way to tutor for them is nice. Auramancer, to get back all those nifty enchantments. Afterlife and Crib Swap. There really is some instant speed removal in this list. These two are pretty awesome. Crib Swap in particular will dig you out of some pretty bad spots. The next category is Miscellaneous Permanent Hate. Archon of Justice. Exiling removal is awesome, and Archon doubles as a great beater that you just have to suicide sometimes. Core Sanctifiers. one of the only white creatures that can hit artifacts and enchantments. Beaters that double as removal are the way to go. Solitary Visionary, a dude that hits enchantments more than once and doesn't have to be sacrificed. Also, Shadow is awesome with Voltron. Steel Hulkite, to reference Commander Cast, a dragon made with science. Aura of Silence, attacks effect and naturalize all in one. Dispeller's Capsule, not cost effective, but there is enough artifact recursion in the deck to make me prefer this to cheaper effects. Not to mention, it's great because you can drop it and nobody wants to play good stuff. Return to Dust, 2 for 1, the essence of EDH. Revoke Existence, half of Return to Dust and a sorcery, but a naturalize that exiles is priceless. World Queller, aka Smokestack on a Stick, great for taking care of problem permanents or just keeping the board from getting too crazy. Now for the creatures in the deck who are going to be doing the big beating. Battlegrace Angel, she is the budget Baneslayer. When you make huge swings with Kemba or any other equipped dude, gaining life from that is a huge plus. Deathless Angel, because people will be out to get your general, I promise. Also, just some Wrath insurance. She also wields equipment well because of flying. Raksha Golden Cub. He is a great beater on his own, but if you have an army of kitties or just your general, he moves into the realm of boss. Victory's Herald. It's like Battlegrace Angel, but one that is better for huge alpha strikes. True Conviction. This card is just stupid. Seriously. Since this deck is based around making army of tokens, this means winning the game. Glory. A decent sized body when alive, incredibly useful when dead. Myria the Sky Ruin, because you will probably win if you have one of these. The next part is the control aspect of the deck. This deck packs some land destruction, in the tradition of old aggro decks. Hokori Dustdrinker. He can be pretty devastating. His effect is more balanced in this deck, no Cradle or other lands that tap for multiple mana. But play it at the right time and you lock down the board. Worst case scenario, he buys you a few turns while people untap mana. Sunblast Angel. Sweepers aren't too necessary in this deck, but one that can hit everyone but you is. Also a great beater, wonderful card for a 6 mana investment. Armageddon. The classic, the amazing. I know it's good in principle, but every time you cast it, it's probably going to get countered. So yeah, people don't want a suited up Kemba to be the only thing on the board. Catastrophe. See Armageddon, but trading 2 extra mana for more versatility. Planar Cleansing. The only real sweeper of the deck, because Armageddon is no good if everyone has a ton of mana rocks, and token armies can be hard to get general damage through. Now on to ramp and mana acceleration. Core Cartographer is a dude and mana ramp. He's like our budget Sad Sam. Dreamstone Hedron. The only mana rock in this deck, simply because the option to trade it for cards is very handy. Gift of Estates. A cheap way to grab a few planes. Endless Horizons. The poor player's land tax. Just don't make the mistake of grabbing every planes in your deck, because this will be the target for people. The last category is the other cards. The stuff that doesn't really fit into any other category. Taking care of problems nothing else can handle. Spectral Guardian. Keeping people from blowing up your equipment is a good thing. Relic of Progenitus. Messes with graveyard decks and is a cantrip if you don't need the graveyard hate. Samurai of the Pale Curtain. More graveyard hate. Just make sure not to play him if you have any crucial equipment in play. Shattered Angel. Life gain is very helpful in EDH, and is a cheap way to gain a lot of life. Also included as tech against Primeval Titan and ramp decks. Gale Powdered Mage. Can either remove blockers or reuse your Enter the Battlefield dudes. Angelic Arbiter. Seems too expensive, but is in fact amazing. This slows down the game considerably and is unbalanced in your favor, something you don't often get in white. Aven Mind Sensor. Stop tutors and ramp dead in their tracks. Now we'll talk about playing the deck. Don't overextend. This includes lands, because you need land to play if you draw an Armageddon. Playing the land destruction is a personal choice, and could easily be replaced by more equipment, utility, or beaters. Other than that, just play dudes and turn them sideways. Although budget, it still plays much like a normal Voltron deck. Cards from newer sets that would make a great addition to the deck are Sun Titan, Elish Norn, and Mentor of the Meek. Other budget considerations are Swiftfoot Boots, Mask of Avacyn, General's Kabuto, Argentum Armor, Lightning Greaves, and Grafted Exoskeleton. Another thing to find room for would be a Ranger of Eos package. It is one of the few white cards that offers card advantage. The other notable place for improvement is the mana base. You want to keep the plains count high, but there is still room for some utility lands, such as Ghost Quarter and Tectonic Edge. Just couldn't afford to make the mana base awesome on $50. Well, that's all for this episode of The Other 99. Watch our next episode as we look at a deck that would be perfect for the holiday season. And if any of you watching are Texas residents or are planning to attend Grand Prix Austin, I'm going to be putting together a video featuring people and their pimped out commander decks. Come to the Grand Prix, bring your pimped out commander deck, and show it off to the world. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching.